Good afternoon and welcome to Ararat Museum. My name is Maggie Manyaseria-Goshen. I'm the director of the Ararat Museum. And most of you, I see familiar faces. I'm so happy to see you all in here. Today's event is a little bit different. For many years we've been collecting Armenian embroideries, heirlooms from various families. I'm talking families coming from the East Coast, from Florida, from Gubri Orphanage, from missionaries. They were looking for a permanent home, and somehow our museum singled out. And then we started collecting. Our collection now is over 1,000 pieces. And for many years, I wanted to showcase those beautiful embroideries because they are the voices of the women that never seen the light. These were their dreams for their families, but they never made it. But the embroideries did. And my conclusion came in as I was working on those embroideries. I'm not a specialist, but as the curator of the museum, that each embroidery had a story to tell. There was a person behind it. That person had put her blessings. And I was just telling to our poetess Tina that every time I put an embroidery in it for display, the embroidery doesn't like where it is. I have to move it. I have to move to another drawer or another place or put something on it, then it would stay. Otherwise, it would crumble together. And then I realized that's what was happening. And for a long time, I wanted to do this, but I just didn't have the time nor the energy or there were too many other projects that I was working on. So this year, I said, this is the year. I have to give life to the voice, to those women, and then so everyone can see their beautiful creation. Because every stitch is their word that was in their inner world they shared with us. So I will have many people that I would like to thank. I want to thank Professor Shamasian from California State University. They collaborated with us. He gave a Musadach collection. 90% of the collection is a museum collection, but there's several items that we had to get on loan. We didn't have Musadach that many, so the professor was kind enough to share with us. I have to thank Hratch Kozybeyokian. He's been my backbone for the last 10, 15 years. Every time I have a rug that I have to purchase or acquire, I have to call Hratch for a backup, and he's always available to help us. I want to thank Dr. Sophie Kachmanian. She's an embroidery specialist and symbols. In fact, two of the large pieces, she put it together so that we could frame it. Because one was over 200 years old, and it's been sitting in the storage for almost 30 years. I didn't know how to salvage it because it's so delicate. But once you put your mind into it, you find a solution. So we were able to have it framed. But the two other pieces, they were pieces. One supposed to be a bedroom set, supposedly from the palace court. That's how it came to us. And the collector, cut them into pieces, gave them to his kids. So only had one piece left. And needed to be renovated. So Sophie was kind enough overnight to put it together and then so that we could have it framed, so that special with a special covering so that we could preserve it. The entire purpose was to preserve it for as long as we can. The oldest item we have is 1870. One of them is, I was just emotional when I saw it. It was the Marash tablecloth. It looks like an Armenian manuscript and Marash embroidery on the table. That was a Hratch's collection. I had goosebumps. I got so emotional. I was teary-eyed. I couldn't look at it. Every piece that I took, I felt that I was betraying the bride because each collection has 50 pieces, 60 pieces. You have to take a couple out of them. I put it back, the next day I come in, I take another one, until I realize I only passed 500 and I don't have the space for it. So we have approximately 200 and 200 something that we've displayed. So thank you everyone who helped me, and specifically I would thank my friend, my fellow, Greg Yerumian. For the last 2 weeks I drove him crazy. He does our library works, but he was there to help me to bring things out. And then my daughter Karina, without her help I couldn't do it. So before we begin the program, I would like to invite Hasmi Karmachulian to give us two medleys on, she's a folk singer, well known. She teaches at UCLA. She was kind enough to come and sing 2 songs for us so we could begin the program.
Ասեղնագործության բոլոր էլեմենտները, բոլոր ելևէջները կլսեք ձայնով, թե ինչպես են երգել, ինչպես են օրորել եւ ինչպես են ասեղնագործել։ Ավելի լավ է երգեմ։ Ori mori mori ororots dani surpreshtakner'n al pahapandani Canicas, oror teroski, kamar terarțat, Anushas, heirur, 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 heirur asem, Janikas, ororim, oror, heirur, 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 heirur. Anushkanik nacher tarer, anushoven el taruber, im tatraki kuneyeker, Anush yerkov semoror Im datraki kuneyekel Shukat nastim semoror Heirur, heirur, heirur Heirur, heirur Heirur enim dururenas Du pastikis shudzorenas Ach heirur, 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 heirur Du pastikis shudzorenas Ach heirur, 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 heirur Ruri, 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 ruri Ruri, 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 lao Ruri genim dururenas Dupas digis barov medznas Ruri genim pas diktadin Andraniki kaj zimvorin Ruri, 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 ruri Ruri, 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 lao Հիմա ես ձեզ կտանեմ տարոն աշխարհ, թե ինչպես էին գովում հայ կնոջը, հայ աղջկան Գիշեր գալդա դուրսելա Լուսնագնան ուշ գծոլեր Հարցրի լուսնակ ուր կերթաս Կերթան վրսասուն սարուն Կիչնիս մարաթուկ սարուն Շատ բարև դարմ յարուն Յարն է խորոդիկ Մազերով, նազերով, սազերով, սոլերով Շուտ մկելը խորոդիկ Կամաշվին սոլերդ խորոդիկ Կամանազ բոբիկ խորոդիկ Ամ սրդին մոտ Աթեր խորոդիկ, բակմը գիդաս դու լուսանգան, բակմը չիդաս լուսանգան, գազարիմ, 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 կերթան կնգնիմ սարերեն, զարկվիմ պետ քարերուն, կերթան կնգնիմ ջրերեն, զարկվիմ էլ մանգեդերուն, գագորիմ, գագորիմ, ամյարներ, խորոդիկ մազերով, նազերով, սոլերով, շուտ մակելը խորոդիկ, կամաշվին սոլերդ խորոդիկ, կամանաս բոբիկ խորոդիկ, ամսրդին մոդիկ խորոդիկ, խորոդիկ, խորոդիկ։ Հիմա պիտի խնդրեմ բոլորին հետ տեղափոխվեք Բինգյոլ։ Երբաց եղան գարնան կանաչ դռները, քնար դարձան աղբյուրները Բինգյոլի, շարվե շարան անցան զուգված ուխտերը, յարսել գնաց յայլաները Բինգյոլի, շարվե շարան անցան զուգված ուխտերը, յարսել գնաց յայլաները Բինգյոլի, անգին ջարիս լույս երեսին կարոտեմ, նազուկ մեջքին ծով ծամերին կարոտեմ, քաղցր լեզվին անուշ հոտին կարոտեմ, սև աչքերով են եղնիկը Բինգյոլի, քաղցր լեզվին անուշ հոտին կարոտեմ, սև աչքերով են եղնիկա Բինգյոլի, մոլորվել եմ ճամփաներին ծանոթ չեմ, բյուր լճերին գետ ու քարին ծանոթ չեմ, ես բանդուխտ եմ էստեղերին ծանոթ չեմ, քույրիկ ասա որն է ճամփեն Բինգյոլի, ես բանդուխտ եմ էստեղերին ծանոթ չեմ, քույրիկ ասա որն է ճամփեն Բինգյոլի։
Wasn't Hasmik great? Yeah. I got goosebumps. Yeah, give another round of applause. She is something else. I physically went back in time in our highlands. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. And of course, we're going to give a round of applause to you all that you sacrificed your Sunday to be here. Thank you for being here. Okay. Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to welcome you all here today to the opening of this special exhibit organized by Ararat Museum and Research Center, California State University of Northridge Armenian Studies, and the Armenian Rug Society. Now, before we begin, I would like to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to all those who made this extraordinary exhibit possible. First, to the generous donors of the items displayed at the exhibit. Thank you for sharing these precious pieces of our heritage. We thank you. To very special Maggie Goshen, who dedicated her life to this museum. She is the director of Ararat Museum, whose lifetime efforts and unwavering commitment to preserving Armenian culture have inspired us all. Thank you, Maggie, for your vision and your leadership. Please, make some room for Maggie. To Dr. Shamasyan, Dr. Bahram Shamasyan, for graciously providing part of the collection we see here today, and for his steadfast support of Armenian culture preservation. Thank you, Dr. Shamasyan. And of course, to all of you, our supporters, Sophie, and other volunteers and community members who have worked tirelessly to bring this exhibition to life. We offer our heartfelt appreciation. Now, as the president of the Armenian Rug Society and the collaborator on this exhibit, I am deeply moved to see how this shared effort has brought our community together, to honor the courage and resilience of Armenian women during the most difficult periods in our history. From the early 19th century to the mid-20th century, through the Hamidian massacres, through the Adana massacres, and the 1915 genocide, refugee camps, and orphanages, they continued to practice and preserve their artistic craft, indeed with needles and threads. They raised a whole new generation in a dignified manner. This exhibit is especially close to my heart, as my paternal grandparents were weavers. My grandfather was a traveling weaver. He would go from villages to villages to weave flat woven rugs, garbets in Armenian, or kilims as it's known, to the villagers. And my grandmother would assist her by spinning the yarn or dyeing the process and all that. My grandmother, Azniv, was widowed when her oldest son, my father, was only 9 years old. And she survived and raised her children, her 3 boys, by weaving carpets in Aleppo refugee camps. That's why this is so special to me. And let us give a much-deserved tribute to those women and girls who are truly worthy of our deepest respect and highest praise. I would also like to extend my thanks to every one of you for being here at this evening. Your presence reaffirms the importance of preserving and sharing these remarkable stories of endurance, creativity, and cultural pride. This evening, as we explore the Threads of Hope exhibition, let us not only appreciate the beauty of these embroideries, but also honor the indomitable spirit of survival, hope, and dignity that it presents. As we explore this exhibition, we are presented with a remarkable collection of Armenian embroidery that spans various regions of historic Armenia and Cilicia. Each piece is a testament to the rich cultural tapestry of the Armenian people, with distinct styles and techniques that have been preserved and passed down through generations. The Marash embroidery It's originating from the city of Marash. This style is renowned for its intricate interlaced patterns, often featuring geometric designs and vibrant colors. The technique involves a unique form of needle weaving that creates textured, almost three-dimensional effect. The Aintab embroidery, hailing from Aintab, this embroidery is characterized by its delicately drawn thread work, where threads are meticulously withdrawn from the fabric. Those are the wefts, actually. And the remaining threads are embellished with intricate designs. This technique results in a lace-like appearance, showcasing the artisan's precision and patience. You would see so many different varieties of the Aintab embroideries in the exhibit. The Urfa embroidery is, of course, from Urfa, is distinguished by its nature-inspired motifs, including floral and botanical elements, often executed in vibrant hues. These designs reflect the region's rich natural landscape and the artisan's connection to their environment. The Sebastia, or Sivas, named after the region of Sebastia, this style incorporates geometric shapes and intricate borders, often imbued with symbolic meanings. The patterns are decorative and serve as a narrative of the community's traditions and belief systems that goes back millennia. The Gesaria or Kayseri embroidery technique features delicate needle lace combined with satin fill using subtle colors and intricate arabesque and floral swirls. The interplay of airy lacework and the smooth satin stitches creates a refined, three-dimensional effect that exemplifies the skills and artistry of the region. Then comes the needle lace, crafted with only needle and thread, no loom, no fabric, delicate looping and knotting open work style with floral and geometric motifs. Those laces, I'm sure every one of you must inherit something from their parents or grandparents. Please cherish them. Those are the remains that will remind us of our ancestors, and they are actually our cultural heritage. Now let me share a little secret about myself. As I stated, I was born in Syria, in Aleppo actually. You know who to ask. If you need anything from Syria, please don't hesitate. But I was raised in Lebanon, and the past 45 years I've been studying and working in the United States. But jokes aside, Aleppo played a crucial role in the survival of Armenian embroidery. The traditions, the weaving traditions after the genocide, they all were gathered in Aleppo, in Damascus, in Egypt, Port Said, in Mosul, in other parts of Middle East refugee camps. But tonight I will more concentrate on the Aleppo side, because that was the first hub that all were gathered, and from there on they were spread all over. The refugee camps were set up throughout the neighboring countries of Turkey, but specifically on the Aleppo refugee camp, where our ancestors turned adversity into artistry. By 1925, Aleppo had become a hub for over 50,000 Armenian refugees living in makeshift settlements. Amidst this hardship, remarkable individuals like Mrs. Tervanda Keshishian, you see her in the picture holding the holding a baby, stepped forward. She learned embroidery from her sister, Hatun, in Marash, and carried her knowledge, her artistry knowledge to Aleppo. Tervanda wasn't just an embroiderer. She was an entrepreneur and cultural ambassador. She gathered and sold most of the embroidered pieces made by refugees, women, turning tiny stitches into self-serving livelihood. One can only imagine the scenes in Suleymaniye settlement. Rows of women bent over cloth, needles moving swiftly, children playing in dusty alleys, and Tervanda's quiet determination guiding the effort. Among those children were kids like Georg Koshkarian, who supported his family through embroidery, and Deukmejian, who helped her mother affected with trachoma. It was a powerful image, embroidery as both an art and a lifeline, I mean. She also collaborated with Mrs. Hedwig Bull, Mrs. Bull of the French mission, Action Chrétienne en Orient. This was a house, a partnership that brought Armenian embroidery international markets like Switzerland, Denmark, Holland, and England. Reverend Aharon Shirajian joined these efforts as well, using the proceeds from the embroidery sales to purchase land for the refugees, literally weaving a future for the displaced. In the early 20th century, humanitarian figures like Danish missionary Karen Yepe, in this picture she's right there, Karen Yepe, established a workshop that employed hundreds of Armenian women and children in Aleppo. These workshops became both an economic lifeline and a source for cultural pride. In places like the Armenian Spiritual House, the hum of needles and the quiet devotion of the embroiderers spoke of endurance and hope in the face of overwhelming loss. This entire narrative speaks to the resourcefulness of the Armenian women in Aleppo, who, despite the horrors of genocide and exile, found ways to sustain their families, preserve their cultural, and carry forward the artistic legacy of generations past. Now in this photo, it's very, very interesting. You see, everyone is busy doing the needlework, doing some kind of house chores, and children studying. In reflecting on Marash needlework today, we honor a tradition that is far more than an art form. It is living testament to the spirits of people who, even in the face of annihilation, found ways to preserve their identity, beauty, and dignity. Through the humble act of stitching thread into cloth. From medieval monasteries to the refugee camps of Aleppo and other camps as well. From the bustling markets of Marash to the quiet resilience of widows and children in exile, this embroidery carries the echoes of centuries of faith, struggle, and triumph. As we marvel at the intricate pattern and the delicate threads of Marash needlework, let us remember the stories behind them. Stories of survival and creativity, of women and children who turned to their art of heal, sustain and preserve their culture. Let us continue to cherish and protect this heritage, ensuring that the delicate threads of Marash embroidery remain unbroken, connecting past and present, generation after generation. For this presentation, I had to borrow about 9 books from Maggie Ocean. The extent of the works that these women have done for centuries has created a trend during the last century. In fact, there are records that missionaries in some places were selling those embroideries by weight in Europe, by pounds, by kilos in Europe. So this cultural heritage of embroidery, lace making, weaving, unfortunately somehow is fading out with science and culture and other mechanical works that's coming out. So they are fading, and not too many people actually know how to do those things. There are so many books out there. If you find interesting, I really encourage you to learn this trend and continue this heritage, this cultural heritage. Otherwise, what we have in the museums, what we have in private collections, those are organic matters. There will be a time where they're going to be diminished and gone forever. The best way to preserve the culture, which is our identity, is to have a continuation, to continue and keep going, so we keep by keeping our tradition, the cultural heritage, we be close in our heritage, in our culture. Thank you so much for your patience, for this short presentation. Of course, if we're going to cover everything, it takes days and probably weeks to go specifically on each work. But I gave you just a scenario, just an idea of what this, again, extraordinary exhibit consists of. Thank you very much.
Brought me a luggage that she found, he bought it on somewhere online. And he said, would you want it? I'll give you a loan. I said, I don't take loans, I'll buy it. I opened it, it's Urfa embroidery. Some American traveler traveled in the 30s and then bought all this Sophie those. We put it together, and then they worked. Sophie said there were belts for the young maidens, for the brother to put it around her. I want to say that how this exhibition, I'm not here to take a pass on what I did, but I didn't realize that the embroiderers, they brought things together to me. They sat there, I can't explain it to you. I opened the package and I said, I forgot this picture. And then the picture comes on and I needed that picture for item or something. And then this book of Urfa, and I'm reading, it's in Armenian, from Armenia, it's Eastern Armenian. And it talks about this Armenian, a German goes to Urfa because he sees the embroidery and wants to marry Armenian woman, to learn the trade, to take it to Europe, to do business. And I'm sure, of course, he's in love with the Armenian maiden. And she said, no, I'm going to go to Armenia. I'm taking my embroidery there because this belongs to my family. And I want them, wherever I go, Armenia, my mother country, that my embroidery to stay there. And she moved to Armenia, but she didn't sell. So her embroidery, apparently it was exhibited sometime in the 70s, and they made a catalog out of it. So what I wanted to say that, as if they were sending us messages that they wanted to be part of this exhibition or other exhibitions. So what you have, cherish them. Don't say it's my mother's, I don't need them. I get a lot of people say, I have no music in the garage. It pains me Because I know we all have bundles. I grew up with bundles. My mother had bundles everywhere. Everything was bundled up. In my house was bundled up too. But those bundles, that's what makes it important.